Hey guys, you working hard? I'm hardly working. Today we're gonna talk about Deadpool 2. Oh my god, it was so good. So here's the thing. Today I was gonna upload Iron Man. I actually already recorded the discussion to talk about it, but I just saw Deadpool 2. It was the first showing of Friday, which, as I understand, was supposed to be the day it came out. Some people saw it last night. Lucky bastards. But today I got to see it. First showing at my theater for the day, and it was awesome. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I would recommend seeing the first Deadpool if you haven't seen it yet. It's not necessary. There's really nothing from the first one that, like, you'd have to see it to really understand what's going on in the second one, but it's just, a chance for more Deadpool. But this one was really good. And I'm very excited to talk about it. So there's kind of like the end of the no spoiler zone is go see it and then come back and watch this if you feel like it, or don't. Because honestly, if I can get you to go watch the movie, that's all I care about at this point. It deserves it deserves your viewership. It really does. Okay, so spoiler territory. Right off the bat, the 9 to 5 kill sequence was incredible. I was just dancing in my seat the whole time. I loved it so much. I can't believe that was like an idea someone had. It was really good. And I love the comparative differences with the opening title sequence. Where, like, similarities where they still used hilarious little bits instead of actually using people's names. But I loved how instead of, being a bunch of things flying around a car in slow motion, it was a bunch of, like, allusions to other film openings. Right off the bat, I'm like, this looks like a James Bond opening. What's going on? And then I started to notice other things sprinkled throughout it, which I thought was really cool. That was good. The humor all the way through was excellent. I want to bring up Cable because, oh my god, thank you for introducing a character to a superhero movie that doesn't have to have a background fully explained. It's like, hey, you either know Cable because you're a fan of Deadpool, or you don't, and you're going to look him up later. But they didn't have to go into how his robot arm... Again, from what I understand, this is all things that I've researched in my looking into Cable, but that doesn't mean that it's the widely accepted versions. Anyway, the robot arm isn't really a robot arm. It's his actual arm. Apocalypse apparently infected him with a disease that's turning his skin metal. And apparently he did this because he's afraid of Cable's potential psychic powers. I think there's a chance that he could, like, attract the Phoenix Force is part of it. Because Cable is the son of Scott Summers and Jean Grey. So he's got two mutant parents and a lot of psychic potential because of it. And yeah, he's apparently kind of scary. But he does come from the future because obviously if his parents are living now, he would be from the future. And he was raised in war times, and he does travel through time. That's part of his whole thing. I was a little disappointed him and Deadpool didn't end up going through a time jump together, because that, as I understand it, is how the two of them became bonded in the comics. Is Cable tried to run through time and Deadpool, like, latched on, or they tackled each other or something and they went through a time vortex. But apparently if you enter a time tunnel with another person, it, like, binds you to each other in kind of like an eternity thing. So anyway, that would have been kind of cool, but I'm not terribly upset that it wasn't in there. Really glad that they threw in Juggernaut when I had no idea who was going to be in there. That was a really nice touch. I love Domino. I don't know anything about her other than Vanessa is a Domino in the comics. Like, I think that she's like copycat or something, and when the first Domino dies, she ends up taking Domino's form. And so I was kind of like, I guess we're not going that route, but I'm not terribly upset we're not going that route. I really liked Wade dying, though. I thought that was really cool, where he was going in and he was through the water and into the scene. It's like, this reminds me of the comics I've read where Wade's trying to be with Lady Death, but instead of Lady Death, it's Vanessa. And I think that that's a really cool touch, because in the first movie, I was absolutely saying this with my friends. It was like, Deadpool 2 is going to be hard to sell when he's in love because Deadpool doesn't have a happy ending. Deadpool doesn't have a woman to come home to. That's all of his relationships end up being destroyed for some reason or another. Usually because he's, kind of an asshole. But he's got something that works. Somebody who understands his personality and who loves him for it. And that's not going to work well for a sequel. And so I kind of knew that she had to be... But I'd also theorized with some friends that maybe they were going to kill her off and then have her stand in as Lady Death, or reveal that she was Lady Death the whole time, because I thought, they put her in that fucking power chamber awakener thing, right? Maybe there was a chance that they were going to reveal that she had some powers because of it. They didn't, and that's fine, but the potential existed there. I thought that everything with I don't know Fire Fist or anything about that, but the story for Russell was really cool. Everything about the whole mutant kind of orphanage situation where they, were trying to pray the powers away. That was, whoa. I mean, that was a really powerful bit of everything. I don't want to talk about the little throwaway gags and the cameos because you either caught them or you didn't, and they were all excellent as far as I'm concerned, and I don't really feel like that needs to be spoiled. I just want to talk about like the meat and potatoes of it, and unfortunately I'm kind of running out of steam because I'm sort of like, I'm super jazzed and pumped about it, but I feel like I've really hit the big things that I wanted to talk about, No, yeah, I just sat here for a minute or two thinking about it, and honestly, anything else I talk about is just going to be kind of giving away points that I think the movie deserves to explain to people. I really like the characters. I love the way that the story was written. It impressed me a lot for a couple of reasons. Number one, sequels don't always turn out great, especially with superhero movies. Like, sometimes you get really good sequels, like Thor Ragnarok, and sometimes you get superhero sequels that aren't quite as good as the first one. Spider-Man 3, I guess, is a great example to me. And admittedly, that one's mostly I find unpleasant because there were too many villains. And I really think that unless you're doing Sinister Six, you should probably keep it to like one villain in a Spider-Man film, just because it's a lot to juggle and it's a lot of plot points. And maybe two villains. Like, it could start out with him already in the middle of fighting something, because that's realistic that he would be in the middle of a fight or like tracking someone down, and then we start up something after that. That's fine. But trying to juggle three villains in one movie is like, it's a lot, It's a lot to juggle and deal with. But so yeah, the sequels thing was that my second point. Sorry, it kind of got away from me there. The second point is that, as I understand it, this one got a bit more appreciation from 20th Century Fox, or 21st Century Fox. I think that they rebranded with the new century. I didn't look into how much they've made from... I have yet to look in and see just how much more this money was given for a budget as opposed to the first one, but I believe that it would be a lot more, considering just how much the first Deadpool, made them. And I was worried that Fox, realizing that, this this R-rated Deadpool is a cash cow. It's something we've been sitting on, and we could have been making a lot of money from this. So what if we pumped more money into it, which would thereby justify us making even more money from it? And I was terrified that money was going to outweigh like the love that the project had in the first one, and I was not disappointed. It feels like they used the money to get some more star power for cameos, help with some of the throwaway gags, but they really stuck to what was important to the story of Deadpool and really what was going on in the film. I think the only complaint I had is the death sequence was too long, but I think that was the point of it. So it's kind of like complaining about it is being in on the joke, So that aside, it really was a great story. Yes. So that's it. that's the discussion to be had here. I really hope you go see it. If you decided to watch this without having done so, I hope that if you did see it, you loved it as much as I did, because I had a great time. All right. I'll see you guys Wednesday, where this time I'm going to be uploading the Iron Man that I'd recorded. And then Saturday, I've actually got another super person story to be discussing with you. So this is kind of a cool week to just be talking about superhero people, superpowered people. Anyway, yeah, I'll see y'all then, and take care, everybody.